All right, so today we'll be working on experiment 2, which involves separation of a 3-component mixture. The 3-component mixture is made up of calcium carbonate, which is the common chalk that we use on writing on the blackboard. And it's also made up of sodium chloride, which is the common salt we use at home, and sand. So we are going to use several methods in chemistry to separate these 3 components. And in this separation, we want to be able to retrieve each of the components in its original form, right? That is, we want to separate the salts from the sand and the chalk also from the sand, right? So we have the 3 individual components isolated. So in the lab, you've been given 6 different unknowns. Unknown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, in the lab, you'll be working with only one. You can choose any one, or sometimes your TA will assign you which one you need to use. In this demo, I'm going to use just unknown 4. I just chose it randomly, right? So let's put the rest of the unknown in our secondary container, right? So this contains 3 components, and we are going to separate them, right? And so what we need to do is to take some mass of this. In this case, I'm going to take about 3 grams of the unknown 4 here, right? And I have an empty beaker here. It's a 150 milliliter beaker, which is labeled A. And I have another beaker, which is also a 150 mils beaker, and it's labeled beaker B, right? So onto beaker A, I'm going to take about 3 grams of the unknown sample. So let's do this. So I come back to my analytical balance. I need to measure the beaker by itself, and let's start. So it's set to 0. Now I can measure my mass, which is about 3 grams. It doesn't have to be exactly 3 grams, about 3 grams. So you need to record exactly what you take. So let's get started. Oh, I took 3.4. That's fine. So I have more than enough here, right? 3.4500. Okay. So I have more than enough for my experiment. So I'll leave this mass as it is, right? Okay. So this is my beaker A. Here is beaker B. We're going to take just the measurement of just the empty beaker, right? So and record it. So you see it's reading 0, it starts with 0. Let's see how much this beaker weighs. So it weighs over 65, as you can see from here. So yeah, great. So this is the weight of the beaker B. We record it in the lab manual, and then we continue with our experiments, right? So we're going to use this beaker B later on. This is my mixture, the unknown 4. All I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 50 ml of distilled water. Try to reduce the bubbles. Okay. About 50 ml. It doesn't really have to be exact. How much water you take doesn't really affect the measurement. So this is the 50 ml, about 50 ml of water. It doesn't have to be exact measurement, but this is 50 ml. I'm going to pour it in here. And stir it very well, as you can see. Okay, so you have to think of it. I have 3 components mixture made up of calcium carbonate, sodium chloride, and sand. If I add water, what's going to happen? Which one is going to dissolve in the water, and why? It's something you need to think about as you go through this experiment. So I'm going to filter this out, and so in order to filter this out, you use what we call a filter paper that looks like this, right? You need to fold the filter paper very nicely. First, exactly into